A message needs to be sent to society saying that if you're going to engage in this behavior, you're going to pay a heavy price. And 7 years isn't a heavy price. As far as I'm concerned, 7 years is him getting away with murder. Because we have to send a message out to these people like Phil that make this decision. Well, you know, to make it easy on myself and make sure that I have a constant drug supply for myself, I'm going to sell this to other people. Well, if you do that, you have to be willing to accept the risk that goes along with it. And there's nothing at all going on. He's not willing to accept that risk. 7 years is nothing for the life of my daughter. And for anybody to suggest otherwise, shame on you.
Frankly, we have nothing but victims in this matter. We don't. We have victims to addiction, victims to someone's action, victims to someone's inaction. And at the end of the day, it falls upon me to make a decision. It's not a decision that I take lightly.
And I go up to her bedroom, and her door's kind of cracked open, and I push the door open, and there she is, lying all curled up in a fetal position. It was so horrible, Your Honor. At first, I thought she was sleeping. I went over and I tried to wake her up. As soon as I put my hand on her, Your Honor, I knew what was happening. She was cold, she was lifeless, she had no color in her skin. It was so devastating, it was so horrible. It was a horrible, terrible, terrible thing. And right away, I was just praying that, you know, maybe she's asleep, and I tried to shake her and I tried to wake her up, and I couldn't do it, and I couldn't get over the coldness of her body, and there was a part of me that knew she was gone, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to accept that. And I just remember holding her in my arms and putting her head back and opening up her eyes, and I go, my God, I wish I never did that. I wish I never did that. What I saw, Your Honor, was the most horrific thing in the world. It was horrorful, and I mean that literally. It was full of horror that day, and I'm still full of the same horror every single day of my life. I want my daughter, Rebecca, to stand up. Your Honor, look at her eyes. I bet you can see the vibrance in her eyes from across the courtroom. She has the most beautiful set of eyes, and so did her sister, Caroline. But Your Honor, when I looked into her eyes, there was no color to her eyes. Her pupils took up the entire space where all that beautiful color and vibrance once was. And what I looked into, Your Honor, was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life, and I can't shake it, and it has destroyed me as a person, because I can't think of my daughter without thinking that every memory of my daughter begins and ends with that lifeless vision.
Some addicts resort to shoplifting and stealing to get what they need. I chose another path, a path that at the time I told myself was better, that I wasn't stealing or hurting anyone. I realize now with a clear head, it was not better, not at all. Caroline was a great girl. We spent lots of time together, both before and during when we were getting high and using. When I saw that she had passed away, I was devastated. I cried, and then when I realized that I had something to do with it, there's not words to describe it. Losing another friend to this terrible disease is never something anyone wants, and if I could change that fact, I'd do anything or give anything to do so. I realized it could have just as easily been me who died. To her family, I'm sorry. No one deserves to lose a family member, and I know what I did was wrong, but I never meant to hurt anyone, least of all her. I respectfully ask for leniency. I want to start my life again and become the productive member of society I used to be before drugs. And
we keep hearing all this testimony about you can't hold him responsible. You can't hold him responsible. He's a drug addict. Yeah, he's a drug addict. And drug addicts are weak, and they're almost indefensible. But what does he do? Those are his clients. That's where his bread and butter comes from. by him going after, seeking, and going after defenseless, sick people.
You take the next at least 5 years and 11 months, learn from it, and realize that you can still be a magnificent human being once you get out. You can still be productive, you can still help others,